Yes, we are online. Good morning, Chuck, again. Hello.
Good morning, good evening.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to be here again.
As we have been speaking right now, the theme for today is, well, actually, we are heading into the new year. We have been heading into the new year in the Asian room this weekend and in Europe, and I guess in Hawaii. 3 weeks ago, we all entered into January and the new year. So into this new energy, but the new energy still kind of, as you wrote in your newsletter as well, kind of drags maybe some old energy, or we need or want to let go of this old energy. And this morning, or your night yesterday, we had the mastery meeting, from which kind of was it as well, coming together of the old 2022 energy and the new 2023 energy. So the question I have for you today is how to let go, maybe there are ways of letting go to really go smoothly into this transition, into this new energy and the new stuff and the new levels all of us are awaiting.
Well, it's one of the things that helps is to have a background. If you know what you're letting go of, because we hold on to things and there are attachments. And basically under attachments, we feel like we're not good enough and we need this person, or we need this thing, or we need that job. And so we hold on to it, but it's an attachment. And the attachments are there to cover up old losses, old pain. So for instance, you break up with a boyfriend and you're the one that broke up, but now you're the one feeling sad and lonely. It's like, yeah, that's important to let go of, but you'll also be letting go of things from when you were a child, when you lost bonding. And letting go is paradoxical. If you let go, something better always comes to take its place. If you let go, if you let go of a partner, basically it may mean the relationship wasn't true. It may mean the relationship is something that's holding you back. But it filled in a need. And so we hold on to it. And we feel like that will kind of all the places where we have holes in our ego.
Yeah.
Which are all the old losses. We're trying to get that person or that thing or that situation to fill in that place. And it just won't work. So to let go is simply to, it's very easy. You just don't hold on anymore. Okay, that's the easy way. You could put it in heaven's hands. And some people can do that once and it's gone. They're on to the next phase. But other people have to, let go and let go and let go and let go. Yeah. My most famous story of letting go, and it is one where it shows the power of letting go. So I get a call from a student. It's 1981. Or maybe 1980. Yeah, 1980. And I get a call on a Saturday morning at my girlfriend's house.
Yes.
And she answers the phone, 8:30 Saturday morning. That's not usual. And she goes, "It's for you." So it's one of my students. And she's going, "You gotta help me." I said, "Why? What's wrong? What happened?" She said, "Last night, the devil came into my house and lifted me up above the bed 3 feet and all night long made love to me every which way you can imagine." I said, "Oh, yeah, too bad." And I said, so I did an exorcism with her. you really quickly, it doesn't take long, as a venerable Buddhist abbot said to me recently, it's simple. Not getting the answers is that's difficult, that's complicated. Anyhow, she let go. But then 1 week later, Saturday morning, she calls me again. Girlfriend answers, it's for you. She goes, he came back. He did it to me all night long again. I said to her, what we did last week, he couldn't have come back unless you invited him. I said, did you invite him back? She goes, it's the best sex I've ever had. I'm sorry, I invited him back. I said, do you trust me? She goes, yes, teacher. I said, do you know that when you let go, something better comes to take its place? And I've seen this with people in their 80s, of their partner dies and they're dead within a year. And then I've seen where a partner lets go, they realize it's time to begin again, and they have a renaissance and they meet a new person for the next stage. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, I did the exorcism again, and then she let go. And next Saturday morning at 8:30 in the morning, another call. And my girlfriend goes, it's for you again. And I take the phone, and she says, oh, teacher, thank you. Tuesday night, I went to this metaphysical spiritual class, and the teacher was so handsome, and he was so wise, and it was really, I was entranced at his teaching. It was so beautiful, but we had this connection. And afterwards we went out for coffee and we talked all night long. And Thursday night, we actually went out on a date, and it was so powerful, so romantic. And then I went home with them, and she says, he was better than the devil. She says, and now we're dating and we're planning to get closer and closer. And eventually they got married.
Wow.
So it's trusting in the power of letting go. Now, if you let go and trust, it's even stronger. It's even easier, because you're just expectant. You don't have a demand, but you're just open. So this is the power of letting go. This is just one of many, many stories I could tell you about.
Wonderful story.
Yeah. I had another client back around that time. I got called out of Ram Dass was giving a talk. I got called out of the talk because there was someone who knew me, but was a friend of my girlfriend's, was a friend of their family, and this woman was suicidal. And we went to, I went back to my office, I met with them, and she was the mistress. Mm-hmm. And he goes, here, take her, do what you want, I'll pay for anything, and so I said, okay, but let me talk to you for 5 minutes. I said, if I work with her in letting go, you're going to want her back. He goes, no, I'm going back to my wife. And I said, that's a wonderful thing. He said, I'm going back to my wife, but she's gone crazy. She's gotten so needy. She's just like, I can't take her anyplace. And she's my right-hand woman at the business. So I said, okay. So she came. We start, I saw her that afternoon, continued to have appointments with her, like once a week. And she started letting go. And then she said, I'm going to move back to my parents in Ohio. She moved back to our parents in Ohio. Now, she was the right-hand man. And so while she was back there, he called her and it, got to be this big thing. And what happened was she flunked the first test, which was when he calls. And so when he called her, and she was like, all the old feelings came up, and she tried to reach through the phone and grab him, just bring him back, and so she flunked the first test. So she was all the way back to the beginning.
Mhm.
But then the second time, it's like she began the letting go process. She got up to a certain point. Her attractiveness came back. He called her, and this time she passed the test. She enjoyed the call, but she didn't try to make anything of it.
Mhm.
And then came the second test where he said, I need all these documents and you got to show me all these places. And she said, great, I'll come and see you. So she flew back from Ohio, but all this time she'd been working on letting go, layers after layer. And she met in a public restaurant, their old restaurant. And I said, just be centered, just enjoy the connection. And she said, yeah, I don't want this relationship anymore. I want to move on. I'm really ready to go. And I warned him about this. And then he kind of makes a public scene in the restaurant trying to get her back, because he would, because that energy was being passed back and forth. And so she gave him all the stuff, but she was peaceful. She was okay. She had passed the test, went back to Ohio. And then she had been at a conference the year before in Switzerland and gone skiing and met this Swiss guy, and they kind of hit it off really well. And then, right after that second visit, she's back home with her parents, and she gets a call from him inviting her to go on a skiing holiday in Switzerland. And I said, just be centered, enjoy everything, but don't make plans, don't hold on to anything. She had learned the lesson. And she came back, she was ecstatic. She said, this is a new path. This guy is free and he loves me. And I fell in love with him, and we're going on. And by 6 months after the first relationship, she was engaged to be married.
Wow. Okay.
And that's the power of letting go. Let go, something better comes to take its place. Really difficult to let go of a three-way relationship, because it's like you're free. You can tell when a person's ready for a relationship. Their energy is really high. So within a week or two, they're going to find their partner. So she had, and I found this so many times. It was probably the third book I'd written. The first one was How to Find Your Perfect Partner, because that was the big question around the world. How do I find my perfect partner? Who's my soulmate? I get introduced to somebody who was their soulmate. 6 months later, they'd be, he wasn't my soulmate. He was Mr. Wrong, not Mr. Right. And then by a year, they were going, let me introduce you to my soulmate, my real soulmate. And so many times, they go through this cycle and things like this. Okay, now threesome, it's like, here you are, you're ready for Mr. Right. And this guy appears, and instead of being Mr. 100%, he's Mr. 85%. Because he has everything you want in a partner, but he's married. And that's a big trap. But if you realize, oh, I do have a connection with this person, I can enjoy that, but I'm going to keep a lookout, because it means Mr. 100% is right behind. But if you get involved with Mr. 85%, Mr. 100% will get by, but you don't even notice him. So be ready for just hold out a little bit longer, a little more letting go, and you're there. And so is he, or so is she. So, but, triangle relationships are a big trap in holding on. And that goes all the way back to childhood issues of competition in the family and fighting for dad or mom, and competition just destroys families and relationships. That rings a bell. So anyhow, letting go is the best if you have the courage.
Mhm.
Okay, so Betty,
Yes.
let's do two. Let's play at two levels. What? Who's the guy you're still holding on?
Who's the guy I'm still holding on?
Still holding on to?
My ex contacted me today out of month, so I guess because of the webinar we had this morning and so on, I guess there's still some holding on.
Uh-huh. So when okay, let me tell this story first, but remind me, we'll come right back here. I was in Tokyo. It was 1988, 89. And I was finishing up a 3-day workshop. And in the last afternoon, it became pretty clear there were so many attachments to so many people. So my best friend, he was there with me. And so I did a series of letting go exercises, just for old relationships, things like that. So the next day in Tokyo, he got calls from 2 ex-wives and 5 ex-girlfriends. He either got a fax, or he got a postcard, or he got a phone call, and all 7 of them say, "Hey, big boy, when you get back to Oregon, look me up." And he goes, "For sure, I will look you up and down." But it's the power of letting go. When you let go, your attractiveness comes back to you. So these are all simple relationship things, but as you get into the higher realms, you realize, oh, these are all attachments. I have certain ways of doing things, and they're very successful and they're very comfortable. Those are the big things to let go of. If you let go of them, what will happen is heaven has a better plan for you. Heaven has a better way that takes less of your sacrifice. Because sacrifice, you're not giving fully. You're not giving yourself. You're not giving fully. So basically, it's a role. And a role is just there to prove you're successful. You're not a failure. You're not guilty. You're innocent. You're a good guy. You're a good gal. But it's a compensation. So you know, in sacrifice, you have a split mind. You can't receive everything. And part of you wants to be independent. That's a secret about people. Oh, so much sacrifice and things like that. Well, there's old victim situations you haven't let go of, and there's this independence, but it's not making you happy. It's not freedom. It's dissociated independence. And the more independent you are, it shows how much you're still holding on to that you haven't gotten over. Most of us try to save our families consciously. And did you save your family?
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah. Family conspiracy is the biggest conspiracy there is. And then you burn out, and then you go independent. You never went independent.
No.
Away from your family. Betty, how independent would you say you are now, if you were to know?
70. Hey, yay. It was always 80, now it's 70.
That's progress. Okay. So, but that means do you feel like you're in sacrifice?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have a good life.
Yeah. But
A free, independent woman, but something's missing. And there's loneliness.
Yeah.
If you're real dissociated, you don't feel any of that. You're just busy. but it also hides old victim situations that haven't been let go of.
Mhm.
And it's the letting go that allows you, nature hates a vacuum.
Mhm.
If you're open, you receive. There's an old saying I made up in the 80s. I love making up ancient sayings. This one was, when the receiver is ready, the giver appears. And how the receiver is ready is by letting go of all the stuff that isn't true, that's in the way. So now we come back to letting go. Is this the guy you're still holding on to? Or is it somebody else?
This is I guess, the pain I'm still holding on to.
Okay. That's a form of holding on. Pain is a form of holding on.
Yeah.
And 2,500 years ago, the Buddha said, all pain comes from attachment. And attachment is holding on. So, and when you're holding on, you're trying to get a need met now that happened in the past.
Mhm.
Now, if that relationship had been fulfilling, you'd still be with him.
Mhm.
So that relationship wasn't enough to satisfy the old need. And now somehow the relationship broke up and you went on, but you're still in pain, which means you're still holding on.
Yeah. Cool.
So do you trust me?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah. About as far as you can throw me, right? Yeah.
I'll come over to Hawaii.
Yeah. So Betty, think of it this way. Do you trust enough to know that heaven has a better plan for you than your plan for yourself? Who do you think knows you better? Do you know you better than heaven knows you?
No, I have no idea about myself.
Right. So if you can actually put the Holy Spirit in charge, or ask the Tao to come into your mind, that's pretty easy.
Mhm.
And then you feel that strength, you feel that presence. Now, actually, when Jesus and Buddha and Kuan Yin and Mother Mary, when all of them reached oneness, they went into our minds. So they're in our minds and they're beside us too. So it's like, if we get to that awareness, it makes it easy to let go of anything, because we know this is not the answer. And you can let go or forgive enough where the other heaven on earth world begins to appear for you.
Mhm.
And then you spend more time in joy. So our life is a constant letting go. What percentage are you holding on to your mother?
80.
Yeah. Now, where you're holding on, you go, I need you, Mom, take care of these needs.
Yeah.
But Betty, you're a big girl now. It's like, as you let go of your mother, what happens is basically love replaces the attachment.
Mhm.
And that's joyous. And then other layers, other holding on will creep in. You just keep that awareness. How much am I holding on to my father? My need for my father actually puts him at risk.
Mhm.
So, and they're lifelines. That's when, like, there's a death, it's meant to be a new beginning. It's we can't hold on to that person anymore to sustain us.
Mhm.
So to let go of these things out there, and then it comes from within. What you're looking for out there, you're what you're looking for.
Mhm.
But when you have attachments, they can become addictions, and then they can become idols, and they just get more ingrained.
Mhm.
It's like this morning, your time at the master call, I was talking about people having a really good life, a really cushy life, but it's like heaven had an even better life for them if they're willing to let that go. I mean, we get to a certain place of comfort and we don't want to move forward.
Mhm. Yeah.
But the key is, it's like take the stairway to heaven, and you'll always find more ancient things to heal. Okay, so I still have this big thing, like how to let go. It's still in my mind, but let's go to something. What was your biggest heartbreak in a relationship, an adult relationship?
Uh, my second ex, my past.
So this is a funny thing that I discovered about heartbreaks. It's like, who broke up, you or him?
Him.
The bugger.
Yes.
A funny thing I discovered about independent people is they have a little shrine inside their mind, a little altar inside their mind to that first big heartbreak, the one that got away. And basically, it's like to let go of that person and that heartbreak. Now that makes you really ready for the big time, for a full life partner.
You mean the first heartbreak in general?
The first giant heartbreak, yeah, not the little ones. Okay, so why wasn't he the one? Let's pretend you decided. It looked like it was he that decided to break up. But if you were to know, why did you decide that this is not going to be a good life partner?
What comes up now, I have dealt several times with it. What comes up now is that he was a foreigner.
He was
He was not, he was from another country.
he was
But
a
I guess,
he was a
yeah,
foreigner.
foreigner, yeah. And I guess
Yeah.
somehow with the family issues or something like that comes up. Because
So you thought this guy won't work. There's not a mesh somehow. But who decided
yeah, me.
and who started pulling away?
Oh, me.
So that then you became less attractive, less juicy, less connected. And he goes, can't go on like this.
Mhm.
But your soul was pushing you to go forward.
Yeah.
But another part of you was going, no, I don't want to go. Don't make me leave. So how much were you still holding on to him when you got to this last guy?
Wow, 80%.
Yeah.
He was from the same country, actually, the last one. Didn't get over the country.
I'm going to get over this foreigner thing, just.
Oh man, this is totally new angle to look at this.
Yeah, and it'll be a new angle to let go.
Yeah.
But then you only have 20% of yourself available for the next relationship. And that's not saying how much you've held on to father, brother, anybody else that's in the way. How much were you holding on to your father at that time?
50%.
Mhm. So that's now 130. How about to your brother?
80, of course.
80%. That's now 210 attachment. Okay. So, and there's other little attachments, but let's not worry about that. So 210%. That means at best that one guy that you still have pain with, there's still you could only get a negative 110% guy.
This is what the relationship was like.
Yeah. Because there's less of you. Once I was doing a workshop in London, and the biggest attachment I ever heard came out to negative 1,560. So she was holding on 1,660%. Now it was so much attachment that she and her husband would have physical fights in the pub.
Oh,
every week.
wow.
One or the other would get arrested, and it was their pub,
Wow.
and so I was coaching her about letting go of all the attachments with everybody so she could come with a clean slate with her husband. Because when you're holding on, like this guy who is negative 110%, you were trying to get him to fulfill the needs of your father, your brother, and that big heartbreak. Like, how successful can that be?
Yeah, this was a relationship. I have never fought so much with someone like in this relationship. So
Right. You were both trying to get your needs met. And there were other layers going on with that. So, but he didn't realize that behind you were all these past relationships that were in the way between you and him. Now, your soul, in that big heartbreak was trying to push you forward. It was saying he's not the one.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you were holding on. What this creates is a heartbreak situation. Your soul is pushing you forward, saying, time to go forward. And the other part of you is saying, no, I get these meds from father and brother, and now it's with him. I don't want to let him go. I had in 1975, a girlfriend broke up with me, and I lost it. It was a competition for a job. Out of 23 guys, I came in second. So in this cavalier way, I was invited my girlfriend to go out with me and celebrate my loss. I knew it was probably somewhere it would be positive, but I was just being very cavalier. Over the salad, she told me, my new boyfriend is on a bus on the way from San Francisco to come to San Diego, and I just wanted to say goodbye tonight. And I was like, so I was depressed. And so I spent all this time letting go. And there were many layers to this, but what happened was back there, as I was letting go, there was one time I was waking up at 4 a.m. and things like this. And one time, as I was walking around my little cottage letting go, the scene of being a little baby standing at the crib crying for my mother. So that loss was part of this loss. And the painful events that had happened were such that it allowed me to get this old pain out. Now,
there's a connection coming to my mind now as well with my ex. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you can't let go of somebody you fully want. And the thing is, if you have needs, then it's not that you fully want them, it's that you need them. And that can create the heartbreaks and the losses and all those kinds of things. But if you let go, clean slate, it comes back. And it distracts you. It took me a year to get over that. In a year, the position I lost was given to me on another floor because I had let go. But in that year, by trusting the process, I did hundreds more therapy groups, and I learned, really crucial lessons about how psychological process, which is actually another way of saying the Tao or the Holy Spirit, how things unfold. So it really helped me when I became the supervisor in the next year. It was invaluable knowledge. So anyhow, it's like if you can let go and trust, something always better comes to take its place. And it brings you to a new level. So here we are, Betty. Who inspires you, like Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Kuan Yin, Lakshmi, who inspires you with letting go?
Mother Mary comes up.
Right. What? Talk about a champion of letting go, huh?
Yes.
So she reached oneness. She's a part of your mind. Call her to come to you, to be with you. Can you give that boyfriend that you were attached to, but being pushed by your own soul to go forward, would you give that all to her and let go of that attachment and just say yes to what life has for you?
I can feel pain. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Give her that.
Oh, wow.
So how's it feel now?
Free. Yeah, it has been the relationship for me. So it's
Yeah,
let go of this now. It's free.
great. Here's another way to let go. Back there with that heartbreak, and a heartbreak, the worst part of a heartbreak is a shattered dream.
Yeah.
What was the shattered dream back there?
You want to make me cry today? A family, having a family.
Yes. So can you let go of having a family because you never let that go? And that's in the way of having a family. So give that to Mother Mary. She'll handle that for you. Now, let's imagine that the two of us and Mother Mary go back there,
Mhm.
and because part of you is still stuck back there.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah, it's like you didn't go forward,
Mm.
and you got off the track. What percentage did you get off the track?
1,000.
Yeah. So, Betty, you've been a train wreck ever since then, right? And how many train wrecks do you have inside, Betty?
20.
So, Mother Mary's in the recycling business. You can give those all to her to recycle, to transform for you, to give you present energy. And she can actually, at your request, put you back on heaven's track. So we get the self you were back then, the self you are now, me, Mother Mary, and we're riding in your life into the future. Now, this was a terrible heartbreak, but one of the things about a heartbreak is that you were afraid not only of the next step, you were afraid of some gift that wanted to come to you. What was the gift that you felt you couldn't handle, that you weren't ready for?
True love.
So your fear comes from a need, which comes from an attachment. So they're all down there together. But actually, underneath that, you have that gift of true love. Didn't I say that to you soon after I first met you? You know, that you had a gift of true love.
1,000 times already.
Times,
Haven't unpacked, I guess.
I don't remember how many times, but you're Betty, you're sitting on your talent. You buried your talent. You're sitting on your gift. You can take your gift of true love out. Just doing a little marketing here for you, Betty. What are friends for?
Yeah.
So you let go of this. It's simple. It's like, and you ride that train forward, sharing the gift of true love with everyone and everything. How cool is that?
That's really cool.
So taking a step forward is a way to let go. So can you, here's another form of let go. Can you forgive the bugger?
Yeah.
Can you forgive yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And you see all this stuff was going on subconsciously.
Mm.
So did you ever have a lifetime with him before?
20.
So 20 lifetimes, that's can be a certain amount of karma. And in your last life, did you break up with him?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I betrayed him.
Oh, which is kind of breaking up with him.
Mm.
It's breaking up with him in your face, you know. And you were learning. You were, there's either losing. Do you want to see all those lifetimes as lost, or learning
Yeah.
lessons?
Mm.
If you give them to Mother Mary, she'll give you the lessons back. So, because, the good news is heaven doesn't believe in karma, because karma is from the past. There's no problem that isn't from the past, that isn't in the way now. So we don't see what's going on now. We just see the past. And that gets at a very basic level. We never see something as it is now.
Yeah.
So as you forgive it, it gets more original.
Mm.
So can you forgive yourself in the present? Can you forgive yourself for your past with him?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times did he betray you in those 20 lives?
2.
How many times did you betray him?
14.
Yeah. So there's this ancient pattern,
Mhm.
and there's karma.
Mhm.
But, all that really exists is the here and now.
Mhm.
So we're letting go of all the past so we can be present, because this is where joy is. This is where the gateway to happiness is,
Mhm.
to heaven is.
Mhm.
But it's always joyous in the present. And if you're not happy, you're not in the present.
Yeah.
There's something in the way. So
Makes sense a lot now, all of this. Yeah. Thank you.
yeah, I mean, that's why you haven't been able to let go. There's so much to let go of.
I was
And a lot,
judging him. He had so much attachment. I saw so much attachment from his side through the years.
well, yeah, because actually your partner reflects the closest part of your mind that you have the chance to bridge to. Get rid of old karma, get rid of the past, because it doesn't really exist, but you've carried it forward. Heaven doesn't believe in karma because heaven lives in the eternal now. Except the heaven doesn't believe in karma. The problem is we believe in karma.
Mhm.
The Buddha said, karma means you'll get away with nothing. I may have paraphrased that, but it's like, there's easy ways, like letting go. You could clear karma just like that. In Hawaii, we talk about having bummer karma. So, but you can change your karma. It's like the wheel of fortune may be going down in your life, whole layers. But it's like if you do the letting go or the forgiveness or the acceptance or any of these things, all of a sudden you can turn the wheel of fortune around for yourself. And no matter how bad it is, as my venerable Buddhist monk said the other night, it's simple.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Getting the answer is simple. Not getting it is really difficult.
Yeah. Great.
And if you don't have to like what's in front of you or what happened, but if you accept it, you take a step forward. You're not imprisoned there. You're not locked there. And then you keep accepting whatever it is, step by step, and then you're free. Because acceptance always provides a letting go. So this is just basic relationship stuff that we all got caught in.
Mhm.
I mean, I got gold medals in holding on, along with gold medals in guilt and heartbreak. I don't recommend this form of research,
No.
but I did learn a lot, and hopefully you'll do it more easily as a
Yeah.
result of that.
Yes.
And be able to just have that radiant gift of true love.
Mm.
Because when you're in that radiant position, it's because you're loving everybody and everything and loving life. And anybody that sees that go, ooh, I want some of that ice cream. Give me a spoon.
Perfect. Thank you. So great for the new year and the new start.
So it's like, let go. Something better is waiting for you. Even what's really good, even your system, even your way. Even, when you're right, it's just hiding old feelings of where you're wrong. So let go of the whole thing. Forgive yourself. This is a big video game. It's like how to raise our consciousness. So we start at a higher level next time and learn higher levels, because the lessons keep going. It's like we say in Hawaii, the waves keep coming. And right now, there are really big waves in Hawaii.
Yes. Great. Learn how to surf it, as you say.
Yeah, exactly. If it swells, ride it is the motto of surfers.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Chuck. Thank you. Happy New
Thank
Year to you. Thank you so much.
Happy New Year's. Yes. For all you rabbits out there, year
Yeah.
of the rabbit, they say, when it's your year, you may have more challenges. So it's just a chance to let go more and just keep moving quickly so that you pass every test. You learn every lesson. Winners and learners, not winners and losers.
Yeah, I know. Great.
Thank you, Betty.
Your rapid year. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you so much. Mwah.
Mwah.
See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.